Amber Shana Williams is a bilingual international actress who has appeared in numerous film, television, and theater productions throughout the U.S. and Europe. And we are here today with Amber to talk all things The Chosen, the global phenomenon that is debuting season 3 on November 18th in a theater near you, where she plays the character Tamar. Well, The Chosen has been seen over 420 million times. And did you know that as of 2021, viewers had contributed $40 million towards its production, making it the most successful crowd-funded TV series project in the history of television? So let's welcome one of the stars of The Chosen and a real-life Wonder Woman herself, Amber Shana Williams. Welcome, Amber.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Well, it's great to have you on. And I have to say, I absolutely love the series The Chosen. And with season 3 debuting on the big screen, how does that make you feel?
I am so excited because the wait is over. I am just as much as a fan as everyone else, and I'm like watching the clock, like, okay, so when are we releasing this? And so I'm so excited that it's going to be coming out in just 10 days. So I am telling everyone that I know, like my mom, my dad, my cousin, like it's here, it's time, be ready. I'm excited because we're going to see a lot more of Tamar, who I play in this season.
Well, what are all the fans saying? Have they just been waiting with a bated breath for the next season?
I, I don't know about the bated breath. I know there's been a lot of a lot of chatter, a lot of messages, a lot of DMs, a lot of comments. Just when is season 3 coming? When is season 3 coming? And it's not just in the States. I get messages because I'm in Spain. I get messages from Spanish fans and just globally. They're like, "Oh, I love the show." So by the way, when is season 3 coming out?
Well, let me ask you this, because playing a character in a series that is strongly faith-based, does that come with added pressure?
I don't think so. Not for me anyway, because I'm very comfortable. Number one, I grew up in the church. My dad is a minister of music, but at the same time, it's more of a truthful story being told. The greatest story ever told. We've all learned about it in Bible school and Bible study, but The Chosen is taking it to another level and telling a story in a way that it's never been told before. And what they're doing a lot differently than other faith-based shows and films is that they're doing it from the perspective of those around him. And the only thing that those people were really trying to do at that time was make it to the next day. Not much has changed in 2,000 years. We're really just trying to make it to tomorrow, to try to connect to each other on a human level, working, take care of our family and our kids. And so for me, if I just keep that in mind when I'm coming um, as an actor to play Tamar, even though it's a faith-based show, I just remember that she was just a person. And even though she wasn't specifically named in the Bible, she was referred to as a friend of the paralytic. There were Tamars that exist, so many during that time, and that's who I want to be, being truthful and authentic.
Well, I'm going to be honest here, because I read my Bible, read it
Mhm.
every day, and I still remember episode 1 of season 1 of The Chosen. And I was watching it very carefully, knowing that the storylines were interpretations, but keeping the scriptures correct. And then the ending, when Jesus touched Mary Magdalene, it just made me an instant fan. I mean, it was just a pure moment. What
Yes.
was your most touching moment on the set of The Chosen thus far?
On the set or in the episodes?
Uh, Either one.
Okay. So that episode actually affected me too. That's what when I got the audition for the show, that's the first thing I did was watch the first 4 episodes that were out, and I was like, this is different. This is really different. One of the episodes that still affects me to this day, and it's such a lesson every time I think about it, is episode 3 of season 2, and they're all sitting around the fire. Jesus has been healing people all day, and now the disciples and are there kind of amongst themselves arguing. It's so self-involved. It's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of who deserves what, and just this feeling of animosity and confusion. And then Jesus comes and he's covered in dirt and other people's blood, and he's exhausted, and he's been healing people all day, and immediately they silence. And it's so humbling. It's a lesson in humility, that moment when they see him, because it's a realization that we are sitting here so involved in ourselves and what's going on here, that we've forgotten the burden that Jesus has carried for us and others every single day. And when he returns, Mother Mary, like a mom, like 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 such a mom, she gets up instinctively immediately and goes to him, because that's one of the most beautiful things about the chosen, is like there's still people, and she's still a mother, and she goes to her child and she washes his feet. And there's no words even spoken really at this time. Everyone's just silent and reflective of that moment. And it reminds me every day, Amber, have gratitude, be grateful, and remember that that burden isn't yours. And so that's one of the episodes that still deeply affect me to this day. And a moment on set was actually rather recently, and I can't talk too much about it because it's a spoiler. But we're going to be delving into a little bit more about who Tamar is and where she comes from. And it was very emotional for me as an actor as well to be telling her story, and I just can't wait for people to see that. Well, I can't get too much into that, but just know that that is one on set that has been one of the most impactful moments I've had in my career.
Well, I was actually going to ask you what Tamar's journey going to be in season 3, and at the same time, it's kind of hard to answer because you don't want to give away what's coming up in this brand new season. But I've talked to other actors and actresses who have been on or in faith-based movies. For you, does being on set of The Chosen have a different feel than other productions you have worked on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's one of the only productions that I feel like when I return to it, that I feel like I'm kind of coming back home. Like after I left Texas, like Spain became home. Like I kind of felt like the other, when I would come to the States, I feel like, oh, what is this place? Like a tourist. And now that the fact that The Chosen is now in Texas and The Chosen is now family, every time I return back to it, it just feels more like home than it ever did before. I've made lifelong friends, and we're all so incredibly different, just like the characters we play, but we're all kind of intertwined with them and they're intertwined with us. And it's really beautiful to see how brilliantly the show was cast, because it really is the right actor, the right part. Everyone who plays whatever character they're playing was just divinely chosen to be such, because it's so incredibly done and the writing just jumps off the page. Well, it's so thoughtful and authentic. And it's like I say before, like when you tell a story truthfully, like everyone's story gets told, and that's what The Chosen is doing.
And that's what, and you're right, and I completely agree. The characters, the actors and actresses chosen, no pun intended, for those roles is literally just perfect. And I love the writing. I love that it takes the viewer into the personal life of each character, because we can read about these characters in the Bible, but there's just something about the interpretation of the writing of The Chosen that is something that I have never seen in television or movies. And every episode has a moving moment in it, which just makes us want more.
Precisely. And I think that's exactly why it's been such a global phenomenon, is because it relates to people on a human level. And the way that they're telling the stories that a lot of us have read about, or learned about in Bible study or Bible literature, is that every single person who's been who's on the show, um, the disciples and the actors that play them, we're all so different. We're so unique. And the show, what they've done differently than many other faith-based shows, is they're viewing the life of Christ through those around him. And every single person is unique and different, and they're coming from a different space, and they're just trying to make it to tomorrow. And it's giving such an incredibly unique perspective that there's someone for everyone to relate to when they watch it, which is why people love it, and which is why it transcends uh, people who are of different faiths, and it transcends language, and it transcends race and culture, is because it's something that as a human being we can all relate to. And it's just great storytelling and beautiful cinematography. And just, if you even just remove the faith factor, it's a great show. And adding that to it just makes it even more of a beautiful, it makes it an experience more than entertainment. And it's been so profound, because I get messages every day from people telling me how much the show's affected them, which in turn affects me. And I cry sometimes reading these stories. It's just really being been beautiful being a part of the show.
Well, Amber, you play your part on The Chosen extremely well. You have such a bright future in film. And ladies and gentlemen, The Chosen will be the first 2 episodes will be released of season 3 in theaters starting November 18th. And if you have not seen The Chosen, it is completely free to watch on mobile or smart TV apps with no fee or subscription necessary, from Amazon Prime to Peacock Plus. And The Chosen has been translated into 62 languages, making this a true global television event that is an absolute must-see. Thank you, Amber, for being on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blessing.
Oh, amen. And you have a blessed day as well. And ladies and gentlemen, stick around because I will be right back after this.